Hello and welcome to SGPN's The Daily Dog. I'm your host, Britton Hess. I'm here with my favorite Underdog Fantasy Pick'em plays for Tuesday, February 11th, 2025. If you're new to Underdog Fantasy, sign up with promo code DailyDog. It's DAILYDOG at UnderdogFantasy.com or on the Underdog Fantasy app. That gets you a 50% deposit match bonus worth up to $1,000. Literally the best deposit match bonus out there. So why not support a small show like this one with the best promo code Underdog is offering? Daily Dog, one word, at UnderdogFantasy.com or on the Underdog Fantasy app. All right, big hoops heavy day today, some tennis as well, but I'm really missing the NHL. I don't know if you are as well, but just from pick'em and betting and everything else, I love having the NHL grind ongoing. So this next couple weeks is going to be tough without the NHL, but we can dig into college hoops, we can dig into NBA, and of course we got tennis going year round. So still lots to look into in the board. Maybe I'll get into some soccer down the line as well. Props for soccer have always been tough for me, so I don't want to force it for no real reason. But if I do see some opportunities, I'll be including them on this show as we progress through this hockey desert here. And again, we will be getting in on some slips with Four Nations face-off. It's just that I got to see how it's played before I really get too excited about it. I got to see the pace of play, the level of play, and kind of how intense everyone is playing. It should be really good games, but who knows? It is a new event, new format, so we will see how that one goes. But without further ado, let's get into the NBA. Can start out with Cade Cunningham, higher than 44 points, rebounds, and assists against the Bulls. Bulls are not really interested in defense. Cade Cunningham has been playing awesome for quite a while now. He's a guy that it's easy to back because he is very competitive. He can score a ton of points. He can get triple doubles. There's a lot to like with Cade Cunningham in this spot or just in general. I mean, he's averaging 25, 6, and 10 on the season. So right around there. But again, in the Bulls, it's going to be a higher scoring environment than normal. 2 games ago, he had 38 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists. So he's right there quite often. And I mean, in his last game, he was at 41 as well, 10 boards, 12 assists, 19 points. So lots to like with Cade Cunningham. He's going to be starting off this slip, and you'll be hearing more from Cade Cunningham as this show progresses. Also, going to pair it with Zach Edey, higher than 7.5 rebounds. I just don't know who the Suns have inside to match up with the 7-footer from Memphis. Zach Edey, again, underrated on the pick'em sheets. He's not the sexiest name on this Grizzlies team, but Zach Edey gets it done. I think higher than 7.5 rebounds with a little bonus multiplier there is definitely worth a look. 3.42x if Cade Cunningham hits higher than 44.0 points and Zach Edey has higher than 7.5 rebounds. NBA number 2, we're going to go with Jalen Duren, higher than 13.5 points. Another big man, this one also from the Pistons as he takes on the Bulls. Just simply put, the Bulls are not interested in defending inside. They don't have anyone really protecting the paint there. I think Duren's going to have a lot of easy baskets in this one, higher than 13.5 points. Jalen Duren's also a guy who's been heating up lately. He's getting some serious points. Just his last couple of games, he had 16 against Charlotte, 13 against the Sixers, only 8 against the Cavs, but the Cavs are a little bit different inside than the Bulls. Last time he played the Bulls, he had 21 points. Previous to that, when he played the Bulls, he had another good game. He had 15 points, so 13.5. Very, very doable for our guy Jalen Duren here. Pairing that with Jaren Jackson Jr., higher than 30.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Another guy I think is going to be able to score at will against the Suns here. So give me Jaren Jackson Jr. higher than 30.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Hopefully Zach Edey gets to 8, and then he allows Jaren Jackson to get 10, 12 boards here, even though that's not necessarily his game. But I think that Jackson's going to be scoring high into the 20s here. So he just needs a little bit of help with the rebounds and assists there to get over this number. All right, let's go to college hoops. Walter Clayton Jr. from Florida. Man, this guy is good. Man, this Florida team is very underrated. They're on the road at Mississippi State at the hump there. Not exactly an easy matchup, but I think it's a good spot for Walter Clayton to have a massive game. Higher than 17.5 points. Needs to be hitting some threes. Needs to be making the easy shots that he gets. I think that he's going to be a big part of the game plan here in this kind of tough road game in the SEC. Mississippi State basically surprised me this year with how good they actually have been. That being said, Florida has absolutely stunned me with how good they have been. So give me Walter Clayton Jr. higher than 17.5 points. Pairing that with Braden Smith of Memphis, higher than Memphis. Braden Smith of Purdue, higher than 7.5 assists. Braden Smith is averaging like 8.8 assists per game. Michigan's obviously going to be tough, but I do really like Braden Smith and Purdue in this game. So give me Braden Smith higher than 7.5 assists. I think he's going to be business as usual, even though this is a road game in the Big Ten. This is a 3.36x multiplier. If Smith gets higher than 7.5 assists and Walter Clayton higher than 17.5 points. College basketball, number 2. We got to love to hate them. Creighton Blue Jays. Stephen Ashworth, higher than 17.5 points against UConn. They just beat UConn on the road. Ashworth is obviously a very good player. He's a good shooter. He can get hot from 3 and make 17.5 look like nothing. He's averaging 17 points per game as it is. But 2 games in a row, 22 points against Marquette, 23 at Providence. He's hit 3 or more 3-pointers in 5 straight games. So this is a very achievable number for him. And again, if he gets hot from 3 points, he could make this thing look like nothing real quick. And again, I think that Creighton is peaking right now, so I'm happy to back a Creighton guy here. Then we're going to go with Hunter Dickinson, higher than 17.5 points. KU against Colorado. I don't think Colorado is just in trouble in this matchup. I don't think they have a matchup for Hunter Dickinson. I think there's going to be a lot of easy baskets available for him. Hopefully he starts fast and we don't have to sweat this one out too long because it could be a blowout. But I think that if it is a blowout, it's because Hunter Dickinson is crushing them on the inside and also knocking down some pull-up shots. Tennis, number 1, starting this afternoon. Nicolas, Jarry, lower than 0.5 sets loss against Diego Schwartzman. I thought Diego had retired, to be honest. I think he had talked about it, but he's playing in his home country here, collecting a check. Nicolas Jarry, big server, but he's a big server who's best on clay, which is kind of rare. Nicolas Jarry, I don't think is going to have much trouble with Diego Schwartzman, who's just not in good form for the last several years and kind of halfway out the door. Jarry, on the other hand, has had some really impressive performances in the last 6 months. I think Diego is in a lot of trouble here. Pairing that with Reilly Opelka, lower than 0.5 sets lost against Christopher Eubanks. This is going to be a server's duel, but Opelka is a much better server than Eubanks. Eubanks' health and fitness has just been less than ideal lately, so I think Opelka is going to have no problem here. So Nicolas Jarry, lower than 0.5 sets lost. Reilly Opelka, lower than 0.5 sets lost. 3.54x multiplier. And just FYI, Jarry is in Buenos Aires, and Reilly Opelka is playing in Delray Beach. 3.54x multiplier. Tennis, number 2, Joao Fonseca against Thomas Martin Echeverry, higher than 22.5 games played. I think the young Brazilian is going to be okay in this matchup, but I think that Martin Echeverry, especially on clay, is going to teach him a couple things, and I think that this is going to be a long, drawn-out match, maybe a couple tiebreakers or at least 3 sets here. So give me Fonseca higher than 22 games played. Next one, Key Nishikori, higher than 22 games played against Mackenzie McDonald in Delray Beach. Key Nishikori, I think, should win this match. I don't think Mackenzie McDonald is all that good right now, but I do think serve-dominant player like Nishikori, McDonald can return a little bit, so I think we could get some tie breaks here. I mean, 7-6, 6-4, something like that, and get over this 22 games played for Key Nishikori against Mackenzie McDonald. That is a flat 3x multiplier. All right, let's get into the lotto. Only one lotto today. Just there's not enough on the board. I don't want to stretch it and just put together, a long slip with a bunch of picks that I don't absolutely love. So we're going to go with Cade Cunningham, higher than 0.5 triple doubles. He had one in his last game. Again, the Bulls aren't good on rebounds. They're not good at stopping scoring. They're not good. That's good for assists for Cunningham as well as good for his points. I think he's going to get the double-digit assists and the points, no problem. The rebounds is what we're going to be sweating out here. But again, if this game's any sort of competitive, he plays long enough, he is going to get there. So Cade Cunningham, higher than 0.5 triple doubles. Pairing that with Zach Edey, higher than 9.5 points. Again, I just think that Zach Edey is undervalued on a regular basis in the pick'em markets. I think that there's not really a good interior defender for him. I think he's going to have plenty of easy buckets here. He has had 10-plus points in 3 of his last 4 games. He only had 5 at OKC, but OKC is a little bit different interior than what we're going to see at the Suns. Prior to that, at Toronto, 13, Spurs, 16, and at the Bucks, 14. So give me Zach Edey higher than 9.5 points here. And also probably a good shot to look at a Zach Edey double-double, if you ask me. Last one is going to be Vladislav Golden of the Michigan Wolverines. Good player, really good player, but I'm taking higher than 2.5 turnovers. I just think Purdue plays really good D. I think that every time he's got the ball in his hands, if he tries to dribble, it's going to be at risk. So give me Vlad Golden higher than 2.5 turnovers. Obviously, some errant passes could also cause some turnovers here. So this is a massive slip for just 3 entries. 41.86x if it goes 3 for 3, or if you want to flex it, which I do recommend flexing quite often, especially when you got a long shot like this. If it goes 3 for 3, 20.93x. But if it goes 2 for 3, you still get 5.91x. So you still have really good odds here if this thing goes 2 for 3. All right, that's all I got for you today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Good luck on your picks, and let's make some money.